Hi guys, it's your girl Kia, and today I am back with a video which I'm going to be doing by myself. The reason for this video is to answer questions about a story that I put out 2 years ago, my castor oil success story. That video actually got a lot of views, and it became popular indeed. A lot of women watched the video. A lot of women had questions. And I never expected that video to be so popular because I literally was just telling my story, my experience, and what happened and how everything played out. That's all. But it became so popular. And I thank everyone that watched the video. And I just wanted to answer all the questions because there's times where I'll go through the comments and let me fix this. So there's times where I'll go through the comments and I'm looking at the questions, and I try to answer the questions. I do, but then there's times where I can't answer all the questions because it's a lot of comments. Which, if you haven't checked the castor oil video out, go check it out. It's my castor oil success story. Go check it out. I have all the details there and everything. But there are some answers that I have from some women I wrote down, and I'm gonna go ahead and answer a few questions that were asked in the comments on that video. So let me recap correctly. Amir is now approaching 2 years old. He's a healthy 2-year-old. Castor oil did not harm him in any way. He's a good baby. He's actually really smart and he's really active. Okay, so one of the questions that I had was, did I take the castor oil on an empty stomach? No, I did not take the castor oil on an empty stomach. I actually had eaten that morning and I was nice and full. When I took the castor oil, I took it with a smoothie. Just to help with the taste, really. That's what the smoothie was for. Because if you've ever tried castor oil before, it's like the worst. It's the worst taste. It's gross. So the smoothie was more of like a chaser or just something. But most importantly, I did not mix it. I didn't mix it. So when I took the castor oil by mouth, and I'm saying by mouth because some people asked if I took it by mouth. Of course I took it by mouth. So I took the castor oil by mouth, but I did not mix it. I did not mix it. I wanted to make sure that it worked. So I took the castor oil by mouth, and in between the tablespoons, I recall drinking the smoothie. So I would take a tablespoon, swallow, and then I would drink a smoothie. So that's exactly how I went. I did not mix it. Another question that I had was, how far along was I? I was right at 37 weeks. I was ready for him to get out. Yeah, I was right at 37 weeks, and he came out without any problems. He was breathing fine. No, he did not poop inside of me or anything like that. None of that happened. He was fine at 37 weeks. I know a lot of women who have done this later than that, but yeah, he was fine right at 37 weeks. Like, I wasn't even in the middle of 37 weeks. I was right at 37 weeks. Another question I had was, how much did he weigh? All right, so again, he was right at 37 weeks, and I can't recall correctly. I know that I might have mentioned it in the video. So he was 6 pounds and a few ounces. I know he was not a 7-pound baby. So yeah, he was 6 pounds and a few ounces, and I was good with that because I didn't want, yeah. Yeah, so he was a good size for me for the time being, and I was okay with that. So again, he was healthy, he was fine. Someone else asked, how long was the process overall? Okay, so the process overall, again, this was like almost or basically 2 years ago. The process overall if I had to say how long the process was, it really depends. The process from when I started to take the castor oil to when I started having the effects were like 2 to 3 hours is when I started, you know, seeing something happening. And then by 4 hours, okay. And then as time went on, yeah, everything picked up. Plus, as I mentioned in the video, I noticed a lot of women, when they take castor oil, they'll take 2 or 3 tablespoons, usually 2 tablespoons, and then they'll stop and they'll just wait to see what happens. What I did was I took 3 tablespoons and then I waited, I can't recall correctly if it was 1 or 2 hours. After taking the first 3, I took 2 more because I wanted to keep it going. Like, I wanted the castor oil to put me in labor. Because a lot of times when you take, not all the time, but a lot of times when women take castor oil and they take 2 tablespoons or whatever, and next thing you know, they're having the effects and it feels like labor is coming on, and then everything just kind of like stops. So I figured I'm gonna take 3 in the beginning, and then 1 hour to 2 hours later, which by then I should be feeling something happen, I'm going to take 2 more. Like, I want to make sure this works. So that was my method, and it worked out really well. I got to the hospital that day, and I didn't have my son until like 7 o'clock, or it was around 7 that day. It was around 7 in the evening that day. But I had started with the whole castor oil experience like around 9 that morning. So yeah, it definitely, it took a little time to kick in. And then I think my labor, I don't want to say my labor was long, but overall, from beginning to end, from the time I took the castor oil to the time I had my baby, it started out in the morning and everything ended around 7 that evening. But keep in mind, I was not in the hospital all that time. I took the castor oil that morning. I did not get to the hospital until late morning. So it was late morning going into afternoon, early afternoon. So it wasn't like I was in labor all day or I was at the hospital all day. So it to me, everything went pretty fast. Another question that I had was, what brand did I use? My castor oil was purchased from Walgreens, and that's what I see most women use, is the Walgreens brand. So that's the one that I use. And to be honest with you guys, that whole castor oil experience wasn't my first time. I'm a mother of 5, so I've done the whole castor oil thing before. They weren't all successful like this one, but I've used that same brand before, and it would help to put me into labor, but it would kind of like, things would kind of like stop. So basically it would give me contractions and then it would stop. So I tried that before, and it would give me contractions and it would stop. And there was one time where I tried it, but I tried it with more tablespoons, and I'm like, oh shoot, it's working. So I would use the Walgreens brand. I always have used the Walgreens brand. It worked for me. I'm not really familiar with any other brands, but the Walgreens brand, it's the little blue bottle with the white top. It works. It works. If you know what you're doing, it works. I wouldn't recommend anyone to try it that's not at least 37 weeks. I don't recommend it. Not saying that it wouldn't work. It will work, but it's just a matter of the baby being ready to come out and, you know, come home with you. Most importantly, you don't want to do that and then because before 37 weeks, they're at risk for their lungs not being fully developed. So that was the reason why I did it at 37 weeks. And I'm like, no, I'm not going 38 weeks. I'm not going 39 weeks. And I'm definitely not going 40 weeks. So, guys, I just wanted to answer these questions because I have so many questions. And I try to answer as much as I can. And that video has gotten a lot of attention, a lot of likes. I appreciate you, ladies. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to comment below. And until next time, bye.